Will Method hold on to their undefeated streak, or will MOCKIT mess with the standings in Europe a little bit? We're about to find out in this next best of 5 with the commentary by Shogun and Fightable Carpet.
So the desk has made their predictions. Everyone going on the side of Method, our current 4-0 team. But on the side of MOCKIT, we spoke about this for the last series for Excel. They're trying to join up there with the top 2, trying to make a fight for those top 2. MOCKIT have got their own destiny in their hands here. If they can take this win, they really force it going into week 5.
I mean, MOCKIT's just always been a consistent team. They perform. They're not exactly one that always stands out with a particular flash or a particular thing that really is just like, oh God, it's MOCKIT, they're going to do this particular thing. They don't mess up. They're not a team where you're just going to, you don't look at MOCKIT and like, oh, they just had a really rough week last week. Right?
I'm looking forward to this though. This is a huge styles clash in terms of how they play. Method, a team that prides themselves on being the fastest team in Europe. That's how they describe themselves. Whilst this MOCKIT squad, very defensive. So it's going to be interesting to see, does that work against a team that's going to go for speed, or will holding back and allowing the ball to come to them work out like it has in the previous series, like it has for MOCKIT?
I mean, essentially 2 situations come out of it. If MOCKIT plays defense well enough against Method, they're going to catch him off. Every now and then, you're just going to find Method, they're going to dedicate too hard for something, or they're going to leave just that tiny little sliver of where you can sneak a shot through before they can retreat back on defense. Or the other way around, MOCKIT's going to sit too far back, and they're going to sit down too much while Method just sits there and plays with them by stealing their boost, by taking the shots, and eventually will sink one in. It's going to have to be that fine balance of when do we push out and how do we stay back. And, you know, if I was into puns, if I was Lay Punk, I would have called the desk Method Madness right around there because they all get one for Method, but I don't like puns and I'm not going to say that joke out loud.
Okay, well, I'm so glad that you didn't, ever. Either way, this is game number 2 in the European League play, week number 4. Method versus MOCKIT, and it is all to play for. Let's get into it, and Metznaris really wants to make the biggest impact possible, taking that shot but levering it towards the middle of the pitch. There are players all over this. We called it yesterday that the seemingly easier demos are going to suit this MOCKIT squad down to the ground, although a lot puts that one straight up. That is the angle of the century!
I thought he was going to drop it down for a teammate, but instead he goes for the angle into net. A lot out of his mind. What a way to open up this series.
Okay, so MOCKIT, known for holding all their players on the goal line. How do you stop it? Well, we're just going to increase the goal size to up here. Oh. Unbelievable opening goal to start us off here. Do you think we might peak too early there, Carpet?
I think that you don't open up with that, man. You overtime goal with that. How are we supposed to go from here?
Well, we're going to find out anyway. MOCKIT going to be the team that needs to respond. Magnus actually getting bumped from behind by Fairy Peak. Either way, Method still on the offensive end, holding on to that 1-goal lead. Picked up from an absolute slobber knocker of a shot from a lot earlier on. Now ball up high. I mean, MOCKIT trying to find their way through. It's now open to corner, but Pashi's going to try and leave it. And a lot does end up missing that ball. So Pashi takes over into the corner. Plenty of boost on the side of Method, so they can take their time, but Fairy Peak's got an opportunity to take a shot. No bumps mean that will be an easy enough save, but MOCKIT starting to capitalize on this pressure. Still being played away by Magnus, but it will only be a momentary reprieve as MOCKIT now backing, good pass, but Magnus in the way yet again. So, gonna have an opportunity to try go for it again. MOCKIT up in the air. Over to Fairy, plays that one early, and Magnus should be able to take that ball yet again. But MOCKIT just playing these balls a little bit too early for my taste. Not really forcing the defense to move, because they've gone for the same play multiple times.
They're going for the bump, though. You see Freaky trying to seek out a lot, and second bump on a lot in net. But no angle for Fairy Peak.
You expected the first bump, but did you expect the second?
No one
ever expects the second. Now MOCKIT still on the offensive end. They've been here for a long time now. Not able to get anything, and now Metznaris, he's got it in the corner. I don't know how much boost he has, though. He's then going to give that one away. But still, Method have got their opportunity. If they can put this into 2, they're going to be laughing. It's a position that they have not lost from this season. So if they can get that goal and they can get that cushion, could very well mean the end of this opening game, but MOCKIT still putting shots forward, but they're not. Every single time they go for that play, no one from Method has been baited out so far. We've still got everyone sat on the goal line. They are waiting for the shot.
I'm with you. I think MOCKIT playing those shots just a bit earlier than expected. They could get maybe 1 or 2 more touches towards each other, potentially try and slow it down, pull someone out from net, get a nice contest, a nice 50-50. But they're taking the shots when Method are there for the saves, and granted they have 3 shots on net. I don't think many of them have been terribly threatened.
There's now 2 up. Mockness got there. Now he's going to take it yet again. No one is back, and if that shot is on target, which it almost was, off the post. And Fairy Peak has to scramble to get into the corner, almost that 2-goal cushion for Method. As they still hold on to this 1-goal lead. Still can't get over how good that 1 goal actually was.
I think they want to keep that as the only goal of this game,
Yeah,
like
keep
the
it
trophy,
pure.
like the trophy of the game.
I like that. It would just be another goal if we saw 6 or 7. But instead, we currently only have 1, although MOCKIT will do everything in their power to try and prevent that from being the case. It's now their opportunity. Freaky's played it, but still 2 back for Method. They've held 2 back pretty much every single time MOCKIT have had an opportunity to move forward for their own offense. Freaky plays a shot. 2 players on that backboard will mean that it's a simple enough play to deal with for Method, and time is running out for MOCKIT. They have got 40 seconds to find a way through.
Method leaving someone back constantly, and MOCKIT again taking the shots from midfield. Even when they have space to dribble it up, they have space to try and put pressure on multiple angles, but they're still taking shots from that midfield.
Now, shot there from a lot. So needed to Freaky, 20 seconds remaining. Fairy Peak has got to do a lot of work. Matsunaris takes his time, but Freaky takes the shot, goes off that sidewall. The first major opening that MOCKIT have had this game. Shot was not on target. There's going to be another one put into the bottom right-hand corner, and a lot has finished this game.
With only 20 seconds left and 1 goal down, you're going to be playing some retreating defense, but at that point, no one went for the contest in the corner. They both left it, both Pashy, and I believe it was Fairy Peak, could have been Freaky, and I just saw the F. They both looked at it, and they both turned around. 1 went to net, and 1 went to the box, essentially, which gave the pass directly out in front, and then a lot could sneak it under the defender.
Well, I can definitely see what they're trying to do there. They know the pass is coming. They know they need to get the ball down to the other end as quickly as possible.
Yep.
So they didn't really want to play it in the corner. However, Method take the opening win here. Remember, they are chasing a 5-0 start.
And they took it in fashion, opening up with probably one of the best goals we've seen this season. A lot just smashing it down from about as high as you can shoot it from at about the tightest angle you can shoot it from, and within the first, minute of his first game in this week. So, well played by Method. Clearly they're here for the strength of it. And we even saw MOCKIT getting caught on offense about halfway through when they weren't even running low on time, which was surprising since they do usually play so defensively. But, I heard you mention it, and I got to agree with you. I think they're taking shots a bit too early against Method's defense.
We know one thing about MOCKIT. We know that they can play when they are ahead. The big question has always been about them. Can they play from behind? That is a question they're going to have to answer. That game there, I think, told us a lot, which is I don't think they actually know roughly how to go about that style of play of we need to score, and now the other team is playing very defensive against them. So the opening goal in this series really is going to be so important for both these squads, because if MOCKIT can get it, then they can start playing the usual style. They can chill out a little bit, play that defense, and just allow Method to overstretch and over-rotate. But if they can't get it, and if a play like that one from a lot comes in, then they got to try something different.
And on top of it, picking apart a defense is difficult enough at this level. But picking apart the defense of a team that claims and has proven in several series that they could be potentially one of the fastest teams out there, that is not going to be an easy task.
So, Method going to take the opening pressure to start off game number 2 after taking a 1-0 win in our opening matchup. Magnus going to keep that pressure going off the backboard. There's the follow-up, and a lot yet again with an opening minute goal.
Magnus going for, this is a little more unorthodox. Usually they go for the backboard. You see Fairy Peak thinking he'd drop it down, Pashy thinking he'd drop it out, but instead he just smacked it in the ceiling, and a lot able to read that over everyone else's touch. Generally, I actually thought he was going to touch it in pretty much any other direction other than right back in the ceiling. So, well played by them, and another opening goal from Method.
So, we asked the question in between games, can MOCKIT play from behind? We're going to have to try and find out. This is their second opportunity. to try and break down the Method defense and pull back that 1-goal deficit. Metanaris wanted to try and get there first, but Pashy playing the shot instead. Here comes Freaky, but he is on absolutely 0 boost. Going to be very difficult for him to do anything, as he wanted to try and just steal away some boost over in the corner, but couldn't get any real damage done. Magnus clears it over to a lot over into the middle. Method just don't want that ball in their half. Off that backboard, here comes another shot. A lot has managed to set this one up, but it's going to be Freaky playing it away.
She has no boost. He needs to be careful here.
I really want to just take a look at a lot in this series as well, because, oh wow, okay. Well, that's an up-close look we just got there. 2-0 to Method.
I mean, no one on MOCKIT had more than 30 boost. Fairy Peak had the most at 30.
And he was looking for some.
Yeah, and they all just needed it at that point. They got counterattacked so hard, and then everyone from Method got there so quickly. I mean, that's the pace that Method talks about. That's what they pride themselves on, is being able to just outpace teams no matter what transition's happening on the pitch, and they're proving it here in this series.
Well, a very bad statistic if you are a MOCKIT fan. MOCKIT have not come back from a 2-goal deficit at all this season, whilst Method have not dropped one. So it is all to do now for MOCKIT as they look for a way to try and claw themselves back into this series, because this could run away from them very quickly unless they can reduce the momentum on the side of Method. Now for that backboard, MOCKIT's going to think better of it. Pashy now off the backboard for himself. There's Fairy Peak with the shot, pushing to the corner. 2 plays committed. Freaky would get another setup, but everyone on his team, well, Pashy at very least has got back. There is the attempted redirect. 3 minutes remaining. Method looking for that third.
I think one of the things that makes Method so strong as well isn't just being fast and quick to the ball, but it's doing it as a team. They're quick to reposition as well.
The way I've described it is fast with a purpose.
Yeah.
So usually we see teams fast for the sake of being fast. Okay, we beat to the ball. We're slowly going to remove players by doing that, by getting them to commit. Instead, Method are fast and they put players towards that midfield area where they can just target and try and go for those passing plays. MOCKIT, we've seen them in the past, just how resilient they can be. Can they do it here? 2 minutes remaining. Fairy Peak gonna put that one up high. Freaky's got an opportunity, but it's just so much angle. And Pashy and Fairy Peak clashing into one another. Actually might catch out a lot. 0 boost for Pashy. He'd give anything for 12, but it just won't be there. Method 2-0 still, 2 minutes remaining, and it is ticking away from MOCKIT. Another high ball. Freaky just wants to try and do some damage here. That cutting pass into the middle, not fast enough for Pashy to get there before Metanaris. MOCKIT are doing well at building pressure. It's just the setup and finish that are missing. They've kept Method in their own half for the vast majority of this series. Find that final little bit. Freaky just over the top. There needs to be a follow-up now, but a lot is there. Pashy gets hounded by Metanaris as well. 1:15. Magnus can take his time. Fairy Peak actually sees that. Puts in a challenge, and they need a goal very soon, otherwise this task is getting more and more difficult. Freaky will get another challenge, but there's so many challenges from MOCKIT in that half. But no follow-up, there's no shadow. That means that they cannot get any goals.
Can't beat them to the ball right now. And you know, you mentioned being fast with a purpose, not just for the sake of being fast. It almost feels like they took the skill that everyone started to go towards, which is, you know, making sure that your touches have purpose and passing it towards teammates, and they mastered it. They don't want to get terribly crazy with it. They don't want to get insane amounts of touches towards the thing. They just know, like, hey, we're just going to get so quick at this 1, 2, 3 touches that we're just going to be able to put it there before you have any idea what's going on.
It's working out absolutely perfectly for them, but I just want to see that shadow player coming out from MOCKIT. There's been a couple of opportunities where they have put Method in a difficult situation, but speaking of difficult situations, after this game, it is going to be all to do for MOCKIT.
Oh, what a reaction time from Magnus as well. Just getting up there in time, barely putting that under the crossbar. But I'm with you. I think when you're against a team this quick, you may have to rely on your winning or at least neutralizing contests. and making sure they don't at least go in your opponent's favor. But then you need to win that next one if you want to try and truly start to outpace them and gain control, which means you need that shadow player, someone there to react quicker than they can.
Magnus just going to put that one straight down using the pinch off the wall. And it will be 2-0 over to Method. They could be about to break the streak. Teams that have started 4-0 are currently 0-7. After that, however, a win here would break that and make it 1-7, finally making that dominant start worthwhile.
And they've just had control as well, and they're not just barely winning these games. That was a 3-0 game, and just look at the shot spread. Double the shots for Method. That's 10 shots to 5. Only like half of them for MOCKIT. They had 3 times the goal. Well, I guess not times, doesn't make any sense, but they had none. 3 goals, 3-goal spread, at least. They just feel in control. Very rarely do I feel like Method's making mistakes. And what makes not just the speed so impressive, but generally that kind of speed makes any team make mistakes. And I am pressed hard to find a mistake out of Method. Every now and then you'll see a double commit or they'll bump into each other just because they're so quickly needing to get to where they need to go. But they're communicating so well when they do so.
Yeah, it's been really impressive so far, but do you know what would be even more impressive? If MOCKIT can now start turning the wheel, come into this next game, and really prove their championship mettle, because same with Excel, this is their proving week. Time to prove.
I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be easy. Just the play styles when you're watching them go against each other. Since MOCKIT are generally so defensive, they're being pulled out of their safe zone. They're being pulled out of the safe zone if I just get to sit on net until I see a mistake. Because guess what Method's not doing? Making mistakes. I feel like they would if they had to drive for longer, but they're scoring before that.
There's been opening minute goals every single game so far. Really need to see what would happen if that doesn't end up happening. I think MOCKIT want to see what happens more than anybody else, but it's going to be up to them as we go into the third game in this series. Method looking for a major sweep and a major boost to their top 2 championship positioning. Actually wants to get the extra touch, but a lot is there. Here comes Magnus. It's going to be V, and a lot is also out of position, but it is going to be the late rotation over from Metsnaris that does keep Method safe. Actually trying to force the 1v1, and he's not going to be the happiest bunny with that one, but for the 3rd time, a lot scores in the opening minutes.
I was about to start counting who was going to win contest, and I think that just stopped me from bothering needing to count. You win that 50-50 so hard, it just shuttles itself directly into net. Yeah, that's the 50 and all 50s.
Right, so we've seen it twice. Will it happen again? MOCKIT needs to prevent it at all costs. That is the best start, and they've managed to turn this back almost instantly. Crucial for MOCKIT.
Look at that touch from Fairy Peak. That was a really cool touch. Turning around just to make sure you can kind of backflip that back and Pashy get in there quick enough. The accuracy as well with that pace. Didn't look like it much because it hit the crossbar and slowed it down quite a bit, but that was a very strong strike.
And that touch actually caught out Method very slightly. Their players turned in just that little bit, but it did slow them down, expecting it to be a pass straight into the middle, which they could try and react to, but instead a completely separate play. And it does end up beating them, so we are now back 1-1. MOCKIT's first goal of this series. Now we're going to need to try and capitalize on it and make it 2 if they want to try and take down Method, who have managed to immediately, one goal after the other, back to 2-1.
I mean, this is pace, again, a lot. Mets beating out Pashy, Fairy Peak being stuck in net, getting outpaced by Magnus. There it is, that is the speed, a prime example of how, even just in simple ways, you can execute it to beat out some of the best teams out there.
One of the only ways I see of beating Method is by interception. Catching the ball, predicting where it's going to go, and then clearing it away. Because you're often going to be second if you try and actually go for a challenge. Problem is, you've got to read that gameplay, and that is very difficult to do. But that's not for us to sort out. That will be for the players in every single team out there that wants any chance of taking down this Method squad. That could be the 3rd, and it is going to be the 3rd. A lot. There were questions in the play-ins. Can there be any questions now?
This drop, just letting it slide directly. So smart by him to understand that he probably shouldn't pop that up since someone was on the backboard as well, just to put the pressure on. I don't think he expected it to go in, to be honest. He saw the opening, you generally don't expect those to roll in from the midfield. You almost always expect someone to get there, but he still put it on target, at least thinking he'd be a threat, and it worked out for him.
So, I'll bring up the same stat as the last time. Method undefeated when they're 2-0 up. MOCKIT have not come back from 0-2. Or any sort of 2-goal lead against them. But they're going to have to try and do it now. Lost in the opening week against Frontline. Could lose this week against Method. They do not want the lines between top 2 and the rest of the pack to be that clear. So they've now got their opportunity. Freaky looks to take over, gets himself a second touch. He's going to bounce up high. Here comes Pashy. He's got time, he's got space, but he does not have the accuracy. Still a 2-goal lead for Method as we head into the second half of this game. Long ball from Pashy, going to go up to Fairy Peak. Going to tap this straight down, but there are players on the wall. It does end up being played by the man on the ground, though. Mets Norris using some height. There's going to be the drop down from a lot. Some more power, and that could have been really dangerous. For Method, the longer they can keep this in the MOCKIT half, the better it will be for them. So Lot's going to leave it. I mean, forced to play this now. He's the final defender, and no, he's not. Magnus is back. Freaky also playing it up. MOCKIT have attempted this high plays quite a few times. There is no challenge pretty much every single time from Method, but the shots have been read and saved. MOCKIT, I just want to see something a little bit different from, and you said earlier on that we were expecting some bumps. I haven't seen any.
Says the Demolition.
Yes, but not quite where they want it.
No, I have to agree. Not a lot of bumps, especially considering we know Pashy tends to be a physical and aggressive player. But I think it's because they're too busy trying to react to the ball. You don't want to leave the ball hanging, especially since Method's so fast. It's almost like they don't have room to make the bumps, and Method's rarely on the ground as a target anyways because they're always up contesting the next thing.
Pashy putting that one over to the side. Remember, both these teams have got games to play later on. Method are against PSG. Whilst MOCKIT will take on Gale Force eSports, both of them with a very tough schedule. But it is Europe. There is no such thing as an easy schedule week to week. There's going to be the shot, almost, but a lot does get the save. Oh, MOCKIT, they're trying so hard, but the breaks are not coming for them. Final 40 seconds, still trailing by 2. And it is all to do. Pashy does get beat. There is another shot going to be played over to the side. Magnus now over in the corner. More time being wasted. Final 30 seconds. There's the double touch. Great shot there from Fairy Peak. Hope is there.
Followed by the first balloon explosion we've seen so far. That was, I mean, that was clean.
That deserved the cheer.
That was clean.
I love these new boost explosions.
Still,
I think Popcorn was still the better one.
A goal left. 20 seconds. MOCKIT have struggled to make them consecutively and quickly.
Method, take the shot, and it's back to 2. Don't turtle up, just strike is Method's way of answering MOCKIT.
Fairy Peak and Freaky both not really knowing who should go for that first touch. Fairy Peak then over-rotating, finding himself on the other side of the net, and now 2 goals up with 14 seconds. Method about to break RLCS records.
Fairy Peak now over in the corner. They've got to get something almost immediately, but with time ticking away as it is, it will be Method going 5-0 in league play, setting themselves up for a potential undefeated matchup against PSG, who will be playing next. But for now, the big story is the fact that Method took that win, and they took it so convincingly.
As Gibbs said, the very first 5-0 we've ever seen here in the RLCS, and the fact that they're able to keep this up every single week is probably my favorite part. I think the biggest struggle that I've seen this season in general with almost every Rocket League team is just raw consistency. Europe especially, as everything's flipped upside down. All the teams you'd expect to be undefeated at the top find themselves in those bottom 4 spots, and all the teams that you expected to kind of be middle of the rung are up here at the very, very top. Whether they be new players, new teams, or teams that are here back again, they refuse to change the roster. Method really putting in the grind and seriously showing off.
Yeah, I mean, they came in, and there was some questions for Method to answer this week, especially considering the last time they played back in week 2. there was 2 reverse sweeps in there. So there were definitely some comparisons being made to the Leftovers, who were never really the most convincing team when it came to their wins. But I think that match right there just silenced a lot of the doubters. So it's been incredible for them. They are now 5-0. Gibbs, I'm sure, is going to be very happy to talk about this one. Let's go to them.
We start the day off with a series that goes all the way to 5 games in our second match of the day, changing things up everywhere. We got a sweep from Method over MOCKIT, and pretty convincing at that. And I think that statement began with that very first goal we saw from Alot. I still don't know what dimension he's playing in.
It was insane.
He's like on the ceiling, and he's like, all right, I'm just going to hit it down there at just the slimmest of margins of angles.
No one's going to score a better goal until like season 8 of RLCS. That goal was absolutely. He even landed on the ceiling for a second there on that deflection.
Well, let's take a look at the Mobile One high performance replay here. Plenty of highlights from that one as Method able to get a clean sweep.
Can we just watch
Here's the shot over and over. Let's just watch that the whole time.
It was just a thing of beauty. He goes off the back wall first, which is hard enough. He like lands on the ceiling for the deflection.
And he adjusts his car ever so slightly when he's on the ceiling, it felt like, to angle it properly.
And that's to start the series. MOCKIT's going to be like, really? Is that how we have to start against a 4-0 team? And it didn't get much better for them after that. Like, MOCKIT has been averaging 2.5 goals per game. They only scored 2 goals in 3 games in this series. Method, their defense has always been great this season, but it's been on a lot of shots against them. This time, only 4 shots per game for MOCKIT. Method controlled the entire series. It wasn't even a question of who was going to lose.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. When you just saw the pace and speed that Method was playing, their interference play was incredible, and it really punished all of MOCKIT trying to play this long ball game, going for a lot of heavy clears, and instead of trying to maintain ball possession or go for 50-50s down the field, they ended up just giving the ball away back to Method like time and time again, and you could just see like, MOCKIT getting discouraged. After a while, they're just like, well, okay, you know, like Method just seems to score on like no matter what we do, and I mean, Method really impressing, I think, everybody.
And to echo that, impressing everyone, I'm looking at Twitter, like after that Alot goal, like Twitter's just going crazy with even pros reacting. Devo tweeted 2 minutes ago, he said, Alot97, what was that? And when you have Devo asking like what you're doing with your shots, you know you just hit a good shot.
It was insane.
Yeah,
so
seriously.
What a start to the day from Method, and what a continuation of their season. They remain undefeated at the top, and their next match today is against PSG. That's happening again. That's match number 5 a little bit later. So make sure you stick around for that. But for now, we're going to go to a short break. We are 2 matches down here in week 4 of European League play. Coming up next, we have PSG, the other undefeated team at the top of the leaderboards in the European standings, going up against Excel. Remember, they just took out Flipside a little bit earlier. We'll be right back.